Irish gangster James Quinn, who killed dead notorious armed robber Gary Hutch, faces 28 years in jail, despite only being convicted as a getaway driver in underworld hit in Marbella. An Irishman has been found guilty of murdering a notorious gangster, launching a vicious feud, despite only being convicted of being the getaway driver. James Quinn, 35, is facing up to 28 years in prison, having been convicted of the murder of Gary Hutch on September 24, 2015 in Marbella, Spain. Spanish police recovered a baseball cap containing Quinn's DNA from a burned-out BMW X3 which had been torched after the shocking attack. The 5 women and 4 men also found the Irishman guilty of a second charge of illegal weapons possession at a court in Malaga, where his trial began on Monday. State prosecutor Jose Barbie called on Judge Ernesto Carlos Manzano to jail Quinn, 35, for a total of 28 years after the jury verdict, 25 years for murder and 3 years for the weapons conviction. Quinn's defense team urged the judge, who is expected to deliver his sentence in writing in a couple of weeks' time, to jail him for the minimum 20 years a murder conviction carries in Spain and 2 years for the gun crime. The Dubliner showed no signs of emotion as he was told of the unanimous 9-0 jury murder verdict, delivered around 2:20 p.m. local time, by a translator. He waved to a pretty brunette sitting in the public gallery who did not want to comment outside court, and shook his lawyer's hand before being led away by police. The jury forewoman told the court jurors were convicting Quinn of murder as a necessary participant in the brutal September 24, 2015 killing, and ruled it had been proven he acted as a lookout and getaway driver because of a baseball cap with his DNA on it found in the stolen BMW X3 after it was dumped near the murder scene. But she said they could not conclude he was the man who chased 34-year-old Hutch round a swimming pool at his gated estate in Miraflores near Fuengirola before shooting him dead. The state prosecutor had offered jurors the possibility of considering Quinn was the getaway driver and not the gunman in a last-minute option B indictment he handed them on day 3 of the trial. He told the court trying Quinn he was still seeking a murder conviction and the same life sentence for the Irishman as a necessary participant in the pre-planned killing, even if jurors could not support his principal argument that he pulled the trigger. The possibility of a life sentence was cancelled out because jurors rejected prosecution claims Quinn belonged to a criminal organization blamed for the killing, despite the prosecutor saying it was linked to the ongoing deadly feud between the Hutch and Kinahan families. Jurors also ruled it had not been proven he was paid for the murder. The jury forewoman, who finished delivering her verdict via answers to questions on a written document just before 3 p.m. local time, said, "The jury considers James Quinn is guilty of causing the death of Gary Hutch by participating in the murder itself by performing lookout functions and helping the unknown killer to reach and flee the murder scene." Revealing jurors did support police and prosecution claims the gunman was wearing a baseball cap he swapped for a balaclava before killing Hutch. She added, "The jury considers it has not been proven the accused was the wearer of the baseball cap the gunman changed out of before lying in wait for the victim, chasing him round the estate where he lived and killing him with 2 shots to the head." She said jurors had found Quinn to be the necessary participant and not the gunman, even though the conviction is still murder, because it was not possible to see the killer's face on CCTV footage seized by police which showed the grisly murder. Jurors ruled the 2 baseball caps found in the partially burnt-out BMW Hutch's assassins torched before jumping into another getaway car meant the black Oakley cap with Quinn's DNA on it could only place him in the vehicle. The firearms conviction relates to a Glock pistol found at his luxury home nearest Pona with his DNA on it, not the 2 pistols recovered from the getaway car which jurors ruled had not been proven to be his. Father of one Quinn was arrested in September 2016 after undercover cops got his DNA from a water bottle he had drunk from in a Madrid train station and discovered it matched the DNA they had from the baseball cap and the getaway BMW. 5 other people were held over the Hutch killing, widely regarded as sparking the ongoing feud between the Kinahans and Hutch, which has claimed at least 15 lives, but only Quinn was charged. He broke a near-to silence over the murder to insist at the start of his trial he was in bed with a post-wedding hangover and a prostitute when Hutch, nephew of Kinahan rival Jerry the Monk Hutch, was killed. He failed to provide an alibi, and the state prosecutor described his claims in court as a collection of the outlandish, pointing out there were no payslips or known employment to justify his high life of upmarket cars and expensive rental homes. Mr. Barba told jurors before they retired to consider yesterday afternoon. On Thursday afternoon the baseball cap was crucial, insisting in his closing speech, "I think if James Quinn never admitted to regretting anything, it wouldn't be the murder of Gary Hutch but the fact he didn't destroy the now famous baseball cap which has ended up certifying his involvement in the killing." The judge will deliver his sentence in writing as is customary in Spain. He is expected to take around 2 weeks to make his decision and announce it. Quinn's defense lawyer Pedro Apalatgi said outside court he would definitely appeal to a higher court where 3 judges and not a jury will make the decisions. He said, "We completely disagree with the verdict and will definitely be appealing once we know the sentence. The appeal will be dealt with by a provincial court in Granada." Mr. Apalatgi said he was hopeful it could take place as soon as September. The new law on life imprisonment in Spain, where it is known technically as revisable permanent imprisonment, came into effect in March 2015. Monster David Bull, who killed his daughters aged 9 and 4 with a power saw, was the first person in Spain handed the sentence in July last year. It can only be applied in a limited number of the most serious crimes, which include murders committed by members of a criminal organization, genocide and killing Spain's king. Under the terms of the legislation, courts have to revise the sentence every 2 years after a minimum 25 years and decide whether prisoners should continue to be held behind bars. Critics are trying to get the legislation, which was recently expanded to cover crimes including gang rape, reversed. The usual sentence for murder in Spain is 20 to 25 years.